For long ages on God's green earth, this strip of land stretching between the Mare Rubrum, or Sinus Arabicus, and the Mare Mediterraneus, or Mare Internum, now known as the Red and the Mediterranean Seas, an idea was born. Water to water, west to east, and north to south. It all started here at this small village that gave this idea its name, identity, and location. It was here at the Isthmus of Suez. The great idea of the Suez Canal was born. The idea of establishing a canal linking between the Red Sea and the Mediterranean dates back to the oldest of times, as the Egyptian pharaohs stretched the first artificial canal on the planet's surface, a canal link in between the river Nile and the Red Sea. For once, the tale started at a small village at the tip of the left arm of the Red Sea. It was once called Per Atom, meaning the House of Atom. The small village claimed many other names along its history: Phaetum, Hierapolis, and later on Klizma. It also accommodated a change of its location. When the Hierapolyticus Sinus or Sinus Klizma, this left arm of water of the Red Sea, shrunk down from its original location, it was still named after this one small village. The idea carried the name of this one small village, which on its salty shores that was formed over several millennia of hard-spelled sweat and blood of those who lived on this land. The idea to connect the two ancient great bodies of water was born. For 4 long millennia, the idea of the channel connecting the Red and the Mediterranean seas took several names after the men who carried it out. The first known canal linking the Mediterranean Sea in the north with the Red Sea in the south via the river Nile and its branches was dug under the reign of Senusert III, the pharaoh of Egypt, in 1887 to 1849 BC. Senusert III, Seti II, Michal II, Darius, Ptolemy are but few names of those who carried the idea and carried out the project of the canal. Even when the Arabs invaded and conquered the European Egypt, the canal claimed the name of Umar ibn al-Khattab, the Emir of the Fidels, a man who might have never laid his eyes on this canal that held his name for many decades. After a very long journey, the idea finally landed in the heart and mind of a Frenchman, a representative of the Emperor of France, Napoleon III. The man's name was Ferdinand de Lesseps, who revived the idea that once came true and then vanished, faded off the face of this land as its tracers. He came again to give it back its name, location, and identity. He called it after the one small village at the tip of the water. He called it the Canal de Suez. An idea so vibrant with life that whenever this land and its dwellers got tired, desperate, weak, or even fell on the verge of a defeat, it was the Suez Canal that always had the power to bring them back, pushing new blood in the veins and running new waters in the river of their lives. And ever since then, this canal and its history were always intertwined with the history of Egypt as a state and as a nation. There must be a secret to this one small village today called Suez. Whenever someone wants his name mentioned in the history books, he would just put his name along with its name in one sentence. It so happened when Khedive Said, the then ruler of Egypt, commissioned biceps to start the project. Later on, Khedive Ismail opened it in a historical celebration. Even when the young unknown army officer named Gamal Abdel Nasser nationalized the Suez Canal International Company, his name too was mentioned all over the world as he stood in the face of his time's superpowers Britain and France. The Suez Crisis was the first introduction of the United States of America's presence in the Middle East when it took Nasser's side in the conflict and threatened the superpowers with a talk of war in case they did not withdraw from Sinai and the Egyptian soil in the tripartite attacks on Egypt along with Israel. Israel, as a state itself, got its share of the immortal story mentioned when it invaded the Arab lands in the 1967 war. 6 years later, when Anwar al-Sadat took office in Egypt after the death of Nasser, he too gained the recognition as a great leader after defeating Israel in the 1973 war, bringing the canal back to the Egyptian sovereignty. He cleared it, expanded it, and reopened it to the International Maritime in 1975 in a great festivity. Later in 1980, Sadat inaugurated his third encounter with the canal when celebrated the largest expansion project that ever took place to the state. 35 years later, a man with the name of Abdel Fattah al-Sisi starts his development project in Egypt with the digging of another expansion to the canal, a 35-kilometer-long bypass allowing the ships to cross the canal in both directions simultaneously. Dredging and the expansion of the existing canal, as well as the digging of the new expansion, finished in 1 year, putting al-Sisi's name along with Admiral Mohamed Shady's name as the head of the Suez Canal Authority, the owner and the manager of the project, in the history books. These names will always be remembered just because they came close enough to the name of the canal, to the name of Suez. What magic would this name bear? No one really knows. Yet, it still has the power to put your name in the limelight. Suez Canal.